Hello dear students, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ritesh Budden and in this video I am going to share with you a very interesting chapter from your supplementary reader in English class 12th Vistas. If you are new on my channel, please subscribe. Thank you if you have already done it. On the face of it is a short play which has only 3 scenes and 3 characters. The characters are Mr. Lamb, Derry and Derry's mother. The first and the last scenes are placed in Mr. Lamb's garden and the second scene is placed at Derry's house. Mr. Lamb is an old man and he has lost one of his legs in war. Now he has a till leg in place of his real leg. Mr. Lamb lives alone in a house that has a garden also. People have spread many stories about Mr. Lamb and no one cares for him and no one comes to visit him. Kids call him Lamey Lamb. Many children come to Mr. Lamb's garden but no one actually cares for him and no one comes to ask his whereabouts. On the other hand, Derry also has a similar kind of a story. He is 14 years old. The one side of his face is all burned of acid and he thinks that he looks ugly and therefore he does not want to come in front of people lest they should feel afraid of him. People looked at him with a sense of shock and fear and they looked at him with a sense of sympathy. Everyone makes him conscious of his burned face and it gives him much mental pain. He is sick of the world he is living in. Once he comes into Mr. Lamb's garden thinking that no one lives there, but Mr. Lamb sees him entering the garden and the two have a long heart-to-heart talk. In the beginning, he really wanted to run away from Mr. Lamb's garden, but after spending some time with him, he is so impressed by Mr. Lamb's encouraging words that he decides to leave his home and start living with Mr. Lamb. He goes back to tell his mother of what he has decided, but when he comes back to the garden, he finds Mr. Lamb already dead. Now let's enter into the detailed summary of the chapter On the Face of It. The first scene is set in Mr. Lamb's garden. There is an occasional sound of bird song and of tree leaves rustling. Derry's footsteps are heard as he walks slowly and hesitantly through the long grass. He comes round a screen of bushes. When Mr. Lamb speaks to Derry, he is close at hand. Naturally, Derry is startled. Mr. Lamb asks Derry to mind the apples. Derry inquires about the person. Mr. Lamb tells him his name and again asks him to mind the apples. He adds those are the crab apples. They have been blown down from the tree by the wind and are lying in the long grass. The boy could step on one of them and fall. Derry tries to explain. He says that he thought that it was an empty place. He thought that no one was there. Mr. Lamb asked him not to be afraid. He explains that the house is empty since he is out in the garden. He observes that such a beautiful day is not worth spending indoors. Derry feels much uncomfortable and says that he has to go. Mr. Lamb assures him that he should not feel disturbed on his account. He doesn't mind who comes into the garden. The gate is always open. It was only the boy who climbed the garden wall. Actually, Derry did not enter into that garden through the garden's gate. Derry is angry that the old man had been watching him. Mr. Lamb welcomes Derry. Derry explains that he had not come to steal anything. Mr. Lamb assures him that he believed the boy. He further adds that only the young lads steal. They steal apples from the garden. He is not that young. Then he explains that he just wanted to come into the garden. He wants to go and says goodbye. Daddy says goodbye. Mr. Lamb tells him that there is nothing to be afraid of. It is just a garden and only one person, that is, he himself is there. Derry then says that the people are afraid of him. He asks Mr. Lamb to look at him, and after seeing his face he might think that he is the most frightful and the ugliest thing. Derry says that when he looks in the mirror and sees his face, he is afraid of it. Mr. Lamb says that the whole of his face is not frightening. There is a pause. Mr. Lamb now changes the topic. He says when it is bit cooler, he will get the ladder and a stick and pull down those crab apples. They ride now to make jelly. September is the right time of the year for it. The apples look orange and golden. He tells Derry that he could help him. Derry asks him what he has changed the subject for. He says that the old man does not ask him because he is afraid to do so. Derry says that he doesn't like being with people. Mr. Lamb makes a guess. Perhaps the boy got burned in a fire. Derry says that he got acid all down that side of his face and it burned it all away. Then he asks Mr. Lamb if he is not interested. The old man says he is interested in anybody and anything made by God, even grass, rubbish, weeds, flowers, or fruits. He observes that everything created by God is beautiful and useful in life. When Derry says that they are not the same, Mr. Lamb says that there is no difference. He is old, Derry is young, and he has got a burned face. The old man has got a tin leg. The real one got blown off years back in the war. Some kids call him Lamey Lamb, but it doesn't disturb him. There are plenty of things other than his leg to stare at. He refers to Beauty and the Beast. Derry says that no one will kiss him. He won't change. Derry says that people talk about persons who are in pain and brave and never cry or complain and don't feel sorry for themselves. People try to console people suffering from physical impairment by asking them to think of all those people worse off than them. They might have been blinded or born deaf or have to live in a wheelchair or be insane and dribble. But all this will not change his face. Derry repeats that he doesn't like being near people, especially when they stare at him and when he sees them being afraid of him. Mr. Lamb then tells him the story of a man who was afraid of everything in the world. A bus might run over him, or a man might breathe deadly germs onto him, or a donkey might kick him to death, or lightning might strike him down, or he might love a girl and the girl would leave him, and he might slip on a banana skin and fall, and people who saw him would laugh their heads off. After this, a picture fell off the wall onto his head and killed him. On hearing this, Derry laughs a lot. Derry says that the old man said peculiar things. Then he asks what he does all day. Mr. Lamb replies that he sits in the sun, he reads books, his house is full of books, his house has no curtains as he does not like shutting things out. He likes the light and the darkness, both. He hears the wind sound from the open window. Derry too hears the sound of rain on the roof when it is raining. Mr. Lamb observes that if he hears things, he is not completely lost. There he says that people talk about him downstairs when he's not there. They seem to be worried about him and his future. Mr. Lamb gives him a very inspiring advice. He will get on the way he wants like all the rest, as he has all the God-given organs or body parts. He could even get on better than all the rest if he is determined to do so. Mr. Lamb tells Derry that he has hundreds of friends. The gate is always open. People come in. Kids come for the apples, pears, and for toffee. He makes toffee with honey. Sometimes his friendship may be one-sided. Even if Derry might never see him again, Mr. Lamb would be still his friend. He tells Derry that hating others is not a good thing. It harms more than any bottle of acid. Everything is the same, but everything is different. Derry's attitude shows a gradual change. He wants to come there again. He thinks that the other friends of Mr. Lamb might go away if he came. Mr. Lamb assures him that people are not afraid of him because he is not afraid of them. Derry wants to stay there, but he has to inform his mother where he is. His house is 3 miles away. Mr. Lamb asks him to run there and inform his mother. Derry asks the old man about the persons who come there. He thinks that nobody ever comes there. The old man is there all by himself and he was in a miserable situation. No one would know if he were alive or dead, and nobody cared. Derry says that he will come back. Then Derry runs off. In the second scene, we see Derry and his mother. He informs his mother about the lame old man. She tells him not to go there. Derry says that he wants to go there and sit and listen to things and look. Nobody has ever said the things the old man has said. When his mother says that he is best off there, Derry says he hates it there. He no longer cares about his face. It is not important. It's what he thinks, feels, sees, hears, and finds out that is important. He is going there to help the old man with his crab apples and to look at things and listen. If he doesn't go back there, he will never go anywhere in the world again. The third or the last scene is again set in Mr. Lamb's garden. Derry reaches Mr. Lamb's garden panting. He finds Mr. Lamb lying on the grass with the ladder. Derry tells him that he has come back, since Mr. Lamb fails to respond as he had already died. Derry kneels by him and begins to weep, and the curtain falls. Such a tragic end, but a very inspiring story. This is the end of the story. I hope that the story is understood very well. And to have a clear understanding of the story, kindly watch this video at least twice. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share this video with your companions.